My best friend asked me to take care of his sister who was sick with a cold. I gave her a vitamin C tablet. She frowned. "What did you just give me?" I teased her. "An aphrodisiac." That night, her body burning hot, she rushed into my room. "I feel so uncomfortable. The pills kicking in already?" I burst out laughing. But she wrapped herself around me, refusing to let go. That night, we surrendered completely to our desire. I never expected that she wasn't just older than me, but that everything else about her would be so overwhelming. When she woke up, cheeks flushed, she told me I had to take responsibility. We became a couple just like that. The most talked about pair on campus. My best friend couldn't have been happier. Every year he'd ask me the same thing. "When are you finally going to become my brother-in-law?" She'd hold me close, eyes full of longing. "This year, I promise." But the night before our wedding, my best friend and I were walking back to campus after seeing a movie, when we ran into a group of muggers. Their faces twisted with violence. They cornered us in an alley, demanding we hand over everything we had. In the end, my best friend used every ounce of strength to hold them back, so I could escape. But by the time I made it across the street at full sprint and called for help, all that was left of my best friend were his broken legs. Blood everywhere, no breath left in his body. From that day on, Summer Hayes had nothing but hatred for me. The Hayes family refused to forgive me. They canceled our engagement, forbade me from lighting incense at my best friend's memorial. I hated myself. Wished it had been me who died that day. But now, the only thing I could do was atone. So I became Summer Hayes' assistant, working from dawn to dusk every day, doing all her dirty work. The exhausting tasks, to help her close deals. Drinking until my stomach hemorrhaged, nearly dying multiple times. Once, I suddenly vomited up a massive amount of blood. The hospital tests revealed I was already in the middle to late stages of cancer. For the first time, I panicked. Terrified, I went looking for Summer Hayes, wanting the comfort she used to give me. But instead I found a man in Summer Hayes' Maybach, moving up and down. The man's voice was hoarse and thick. "Summer, I hate that assistant of yours. When are you going to get rid of him?" Summer hesitated for just a moment, then said coldly, "Don't worry. We're getting married soon. He can't affect us. Besides, he killed my brother. I only wish he were dead." Hearing that, I felt my heart bleeding drop by drop. I turned away and caught a cab back to the hospital. "Doctor, I'm not doing treatment anymore. I want to donate all my organs." The doctor looked shocked. He urged me, "Are you absolutely sure? If you pursue aggressive treatment, you could still extend your life. But if you refuse treatment, you'll only have a few months left at most." I didn't think twice. I shook my head. "I'm sure. I should have died a long time ago. This way I can apologize to Ryan Hayes down there, and Summer Hayes can finally be free." From that day on, I pretended everything was normal. Still went to the office every day like usual. Summer Hayes still forced me to drink every day, more than a dozen glasses each night. The pain turned my face deathly pale. But I kept enduring it, until the banquet ended and I could rush to the bathroom to vomit violently. This time I passed out. When I came to, I found myself lying in bed at home. My dirty clothes had been changed. Someone was keeping watch beside the bed. It was Hannah Shaw. Hannah Shaw was my college classmate. All these years, she'd been quietly taking care of me. Right now, she was clutching my crumpled test results in her hand, reading every word over and over again. Hannah studied medicine. She understood exactly what those test results meant. Her eyes were red-rimmed. She asked, trembling, "You have stomach cancer?" Her heart was breaking. She immediately grabbed my hand. "You can't keep going like this. You need to leave her right now and get treatment at the hospital." But I pulled my hand away. I forced a smile. "It's not that serious. Don't worry. I'll take care of myself." Seeing how resolute I was, Hannah Shaw knew she couldn't convince me. She knew even better that Ryan Hayes' death 5 years ago was a pain I could never move past. Hannah Shaw couldn't argue with me, so she stayed, taking care of me through the night. The next morning she left for the hospital, and I rushed to the office to work. Today I had to accompany Summer Hayes to a banquet. But I wasn't her boyfriend. I was just going as her assistant. Tyler Crawford was her boyfriend. When he saw me, Tyler Crawford's face was full of false warmth. "Ethan Sinclair, I really admire you. Still shameless enough to follow Summer around." I didn't argue back, just stood silently to the side. Then Summer Hayes walked over. Tyler Crawford easily took her hand. Summer Hayes didn't refuse. But when she looked at me, her eyes grew several degrees colder. "Who said you could attend the banquet?" "Wait outside." Seattle had descended into winter. Out there, no heater, only the icy wind cutting through. But I just nodded. "All right." With that, I turned and walked out of the banquet hall. Outside was an open garden. Not even a roof for shelter. I stood in the freezing wind, my thin frame trembling. A server took pity on me. Asked if I wanted to come inside and rest. I silently shook my head. I stood there until nightfall. Until the banquet ended. Summer Hayes walked out wearing Tyler Crawford's coat. The two of them saw me still standing out there. Something flickered in her eyes. Her voice inexplicably grew hoarse. "What are you hiding out here for? Are you coming or not?" She pulled Tyler Crawford's hand and walked away. I followed behind them. As we passed the artificial lake in the garden, Tyler Crawford's mouth curved into a smirk. He suddenly lurched forward several steps, pretending someone had pushed him. Oh no, my watch fell in the lake. He whirled around furiously to glare at me. "Who told you to push me?" I shot back immediately. "I didn't." Still making excuses? Tyler Crawford grabbed Summer Hayes' hand. "Summer, that was my favorite watch." Summer Hayes looked at me. For how many seconds, I couldn't tell. Then she said quietly, "Jump in and get it." Without asking anything, she convicted me on the spot. I looked down at the water. Even from here, I could feel the bone-chilling cold. But I silently stepped in. The lake wasn't deep, only knee-high. But winter water cut straight to the bone. Each step felt like walking barefoot across shards of ice. I was already weak to begin with. I searched and searched, my body trembling violently. Summer Hayes only watched for a few seconds before turning away, leaving behind one sentence: "If you don't find it, don't bother coming in tomorrow." With that, she led Tyler Crawford away. I stood alone in the lake, an indescribable sadness welling up inside me. I bent down and searched through the entire night. Finally found the watch, but when I shakily stood up, my body had long since gone numb. Still, step by step, I rushed back to the company building with the watch. Tyler Crawford was in her office. He took the watch, but only looked at it with disgust. "It's covered in mud, completely filthy. I don't want it anymore." With that, he yanked it off and threw it in the trash. Summer Hayes only glanced at it once. Said indifferently, "If you don't like it, forget it. I'll buy you a new one." Tyler Crawford beamed. "Summer, you're so good to me." I walked out, bedraggled and humiliated. The CEO's office staff who saw me like this had long grown used to it. Over the years, I'd endured so much suffering. They didn't understand why I still insisted on staying. I didn't even ask for a single day off. Just casually took 2 cold medicine pills. Then went with Summer Hayes on her inspection tour. A few more days passed. Because I hadn't been consistently treating it, plus my constant drinking irritating my stomach, my condition grew worse by the day. But each time I just hastily swallowed 2 pills. Barely getting by. Today was the weekend. I lay on the sofa, in too much pain to move. Then I got a call from Summer Hayes. "Crawford wants the mini wontons from Chen's shop. Go buy him a serving." As Summer Hayes' assistant, I never had a day off. Whenever she needed me, I had to work immediately. But today I really was in too much pain to get up. Could Assistant Wong go buy it today? But before I could finish, Summer Hayes cut me off coldly. "Ethan Sinclair, did I say you had a choice?" I couldn't breathe, couldn't say anything more. "Either go, or never show your face again." With that, she hung up. I could only force myself through the pain to stand. Stumbling toward the door. Chen's wonton shop was on a street very far away. But it was always packed. I waited in line for 3 full hours. Finally got a serving. But when I rushed to Summer Hayes' place and handed her the wontons, Tyler Crawford's face turned cold. "Who told you to add chili oil?" The pain made it hard to breathe. Don't you like spicy food? Tyler Crawford casually dumped out the wontons. I don't like spicy anymore. Summer Hayes looked at me heavily. Go buy it again. I could only rush back out. The second time I brought them back. Tyler Crawford complained there were dried shrimp inside. Summer Hayes, as if she couldn't see him deliberately torturing me, just said flatly, go buy it again. I ran back and forth several times like that. By the time I bought the last one, it was already dark. I carried the packaged wontons, weak and exhausted on the way back. My stomach sent waves of violent pain. My steps faltered. My mind went hazy. I couldn't see the road ahead clearly at all. I only heard a sudden sound by my ear. A deafening horn. A truck slammed into me, knocking me to the ground. I rolled several times, under that kind of impact. I couldn't hold it in anymore, suddenly vomiting up a huge mouthful of fresh blood. In that instant the fragrance of wontons scattered across the pavement. Everything before my eyes turned to snowflakes. Blurred and unclear, then complete unconsciousness. The hospital. When Hannah Shaw saw the person being rushed to emergency, was actually me. Her eyes went wide with shock. She called out several times, Ethan Sinclair. Ethan Sinclair, but the person on the bed didn't respond. I just kept vomiting blood. Even the chief physician was startled. Is it internal organ rupture? Hannah Shaw spoke up in panic. He has stomach cancer. The doctor's expression immediately changed. They rushed me into emergency surgery. Several hours later, the surgery ended. But they'd only stopped the bleeding from the external injuries caused by the accident. All the machines showed. My vital signs were declining. Hannah Shaw was frantic. Professor, what's wrong with him? The professor shook his head. Late-stage stomach cancer. His body was already extremely weak. The accident triggered early organ failure. I didn't wake up in the hospital bed. Just kept coughing up blood, while unconsciously calling out a name over and over. Summer Hayes. Looking like the next moment would be my last breath. Hannah Shaw, eyes red-rimmed, grabbed my hand. Her voice choked. Ethan, hold on, please hold on. I'll go get her to see you. Just wait a little longer. A little longer. With that, she shakily took out my phone and called Summer Hayes. The person on the other end answered, her voice cold. Ethan Sinclair, I told you to buy wontons. Can't you even manage that? Hannah Shaw clenched her fists. It's me, Hannah Shaw. The person on the other end went silent for a few seconds. Then slowly spoke. Why do you have his phone? Hannah Shaw watched the heartbeat on the monitor gradually flatline. Her voice trembling. Each word deliberate. Come to the hospital. See Ethan Sinclair one last time. The other end went silent again, for who knows how long. Summer Hayes let out a cold laugh. Hannah Shaw, did he tell you to put on this act with him? Hannah Shaw wanted to kill Summer Hayes. She choked out a scream. Ethan Sinclair, he's... But the next moment, a weak hand pulled her back. Looking down, she saw the person who'd been unconscious just moments ago had suddenly awakened. I struggled to shake my head, mouthing the words to her. Don't let her come. And at that moment on the monitor, my heartbeat suddenly began to rise, very slowly. On the other end came Summer Hayes's hoarse, questioning voice. What's wrong with him? But Hannah Shaw didn't have time to explain. Seeing the heartbeat rising, overjoyed beyond words, she hung up, quickly ran to get the professor. After another round of examinations, the doctor removed his mask. Drenched in sweat, breathing a sigh of relief. His vital signs have stabilized. Quickly, move him to the observation room. Then they wheeled me into observation. Meanwhile, after Hannah Shaw hung up on her, Summer Hayes stared at the phone for a long time. Tyler Crawford saw her distracted because of me again. A flash of hatred crossed his eyes. Summer, they're definitely working together to trick you. Just trying to get your attention. After all these years. Isn't Ethan tired of playing this game? With that, he tried to take Summer Hayes's hand. But she suddenly stood up, so he missed. Summer spoke quietly. I still have work to finish. You go ahead. Tyler Crawford had thought. Today he'd finally get to stay the night. Hearing this, he could only leave in frustration. In her office, Summer Hayes stared at the computer. But her heart felt tangled like knotted thread. She couldn't calm down no matter what. Finally, she called another assistant. Find out where Ethan Sinclair is right now.